Well, greetings everybody, and welcome to yes, a new edition of the Inworld Review, where it is. Oh, I do not believe this. September already? Come off it! Come off it! Where's the year gone? 2nd of September, which happens to be in 2018, and happens to be a Sunday, which is. And it happens to be about noon Pacific, normal time, so to speak. Anyway, we have a short show for you today. We're basically going to be looking at a couple of things up and coming. I'm joined, of course, by James Outloud, who's multitasking on all our cameras here. So welcome, James.
Oh, thanks, Mel. It's great to be here.
And my guests this week are, well, they're probably familiar to if you've seen them on this show before, or you may, hopefully you've done, maybe you didn't, I don't know. But you often see them around about on things like hypergrid safaris and all over the place, really. Juliet, Surreal Dreaming. If that isn't the perfect surname for an avatar, I've always loved that, Surreal Dreaming as a second avatar name. And Art Blue. Both of whom are, as you can tell, very colourful characters. So let me see. Welcome, Juliet.
Welcome and thank. Oh, I say welcome to you, see Mel. Thanks.
And welcome to Art as well. Right, there's silence from Art, I noticed. Art is here. Art, of course, is around and about in all virtual worlds, it seems, actually. I mean, but even on the rare occasion I have to hop over to Second Life to film something, I seem to find Art is in there. Maybe he runs multiple arts online at once. I don't know. Are you hearing me, Art?
Of course, welcome.
Oh, right, okay. So,
Juliette and...
Yes, okay. Well, now I can say welcome to you, and you can say welcome back if you want to. Okay. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we had Handheld on this show, and he was telling us about the up-and-coming Avatar Fest. And I'm quickly going to put our little poster of Avatar Fest back on the board. If James wants to fire a camera in that direction. It'll be happening from October the 5th through to the 7th. At least that will be the principal weekend of activities and performances and stuff, although it will continue to be open a fair time after that. Now, Julius, I know that there is a chance that you may actually have to leave us before, because I believe somebody's coming around or something. So I said before the show, we'll sort of move over to you first, as it were. And one of the slides you've given me here, I'm going to switch to now, is, I believe, yep, there we are. This is actually your slide, a slide of your presence. Welcome to the...
I thought you don't work till tomorrow.
Sorry? Biennial grand opening.
That's
yeah. This is sorry, I heard some other sound from somewhere. This is actually at the Avatar Fest, isn't it? This is your build there.
Well, this isn't at the. This is the arrival point at the One Biennale event.
Sorry.
That's
right,
okay.
Yeah.
Which Art Blue is really, I think, going to be sharing a lot about with us.
Right, for sure.
But this is the emphasis of our involvement at the Avatar Fest. So where our exhibit there is actually photography, and it's one of my rare exhibits. I have gotten together a collection of photographs of the different builds that we will be having at the One Biennale. And the thing for me was that it was random. I just started to photograph. I'm more of a curator than I am an artist, but I got so inspired by all these incredibly talented people that joined us and started looking at different aspects of their builds and just started photographing. And then I was showing a couple of them to Art, and we started to talk about them, and we thought how fun it would be at the Avatar to get involved in the Avatar Fest and to show the photographs, some of the photographs I had taken, maybe to entice people to come and come to the grand opening of it, which is on September 20th in Metropolis, Metaverse in Metropolis. And so that's kind of my involvement with the Avatar Fest. And then I know Art will be speaking there at some
Sure.
point.
Yeah, I'm just such a I'm checking my dates here, and of course the Metropolis exhibit actually, of course, is going to be before Avatar Fest, so you'll be talking retroactive. Yes, September 20th. It's
Mm-hmm.
in Metropolis, isn't it?
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
okay. Well, maybe I'll switch to Art now. First of all, maybe you can. I mean, there is obviously a book involved in this. There is the art exhibit on Metropolis, and there are lots of stuff that ties together. So maybe Art, if you'd sort of come in and explain it all, really.
Sure. Thanks, Mal. The book shows the contributors to the One Biennale. It's about 40 artists who worked together to find ways to make art visual in a pavilion. That means they built cubes, and others built pavilions, like the old concept that was developed in Venice 200 years ago, where the Biennale idea came up, and now we have biennales all over the world, and that's the first digital immersive biennale or biennial, or however you want to speak it. And so the idea was to find a combination between artist cubes, artist work in a cube. Cube's a basic element in our virtual lives, and the pavilions who give space to host them. And the book shows pictures and stories about this happening. And Juliette said she made additional photos with her view, with her artistic view, and placed it to the Avatar Fest in a special installation. So we promote the One Biennale via the Avatar Fest. The Biennale will open at November 1st at Santorini on this island. So it's a real-life art show where this segment or this section, the digital art, will be part in. So it's the first international known biennial where the digital immersive art, which you can only experience via computer, is part of a show. But I think that's not unusual. If you look back to photography, it was the same as photography. It was not accepted in the old times. It was even a threat to the art business, to the conventional art, let's say painting or pottery and so on. So the view of what is art has changed over the years, over generations, let's say. And we are now in a new generation that comes up, which for them is computer art or art inside the computer, quite a normal thing. And there are new terms coming up, social art and all this stuff. And my point was to bring this virtual art to the real world via a book, via exhibitions, and via all ideas you can have in this field. That means a video or Mashimina, that will be made by Wizard Oz Crom. She made already one for 2016, where the Immersivia, the immersive digital art show, happened at Santorini in this Biennale. And now she is working again to do such a production.
Can I just ask, I'm slightly confused here, the book and is the book is of the immersive stuff, isn't it?
Yes, the pavilions,
rather than the whole the whole thing that it is part of. Okay, that's fine.
The book has also a story, because I wrote the book also as a time document. That means if you have no story for art, it's a little bit it's not embedded in the brain. You need a story around where you experience new worlds, where you have make contact in a new form. So I used the green kangaroo as one of the protagonists, and of course Art Blue, my avatar, travels to a land, Onavero, and this land exists in reality. It's between Hawaii and Australia, a very tiny island, and Nauru, it's the English word for it, and the old word is Onavero. And so in this location, in this island, there is the real virtual happening of this. So I made a metaphor, and also with a digital or an artificial intelligence as president there. So the book is nice to read. It's a story about time travel, about art, about experiences, and this story supports the new thinking, the new ways of feeling and experiencing our digital world. So the book is able to download. That's very important, as PDF, very cheap, in high quality. That means 180 megabyte. So you get it in high res, all the pictures, all the text and everything. And of course, if you have the urge to get it as a collector's item, then it's very expensive because it's
Yes.
very big, 12-inch, yeah, and it's very heavy. So it's
I bet,
quite heavy to carry. Because the printing technology is very unusual. It's lay flat. That means you have no border, no cut in it when you page over it. I'm not native English, but it's flawless. Let's say
it's a spine.
Yes, no spine in it. Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so basically every page is a double page spread without a significant groove. Yes.
And it's a wonderful book too, Mal. It features every single pavilion maker and gives background about a bio on them, and also all the artist cubes. It features those artists as well. So it really is a wonderful book for the contributors to have for their own resume, and also just for their own delight in having been part of such a huge event that is not only digital or virtual, but also transcends into real life. So it's a real collector's item.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm looking at I'm actually looking at Hypergrid Business's page with your press release, and there's a spread there, for example, and a lot of familiar artists too. I mean, you've got Kiko, or I call it Chica Ghost,
Chica, yeah.
Brino, Venus Adored,
Sherry
the other art teams, Betty Trudeau, just a few of them there. Oh, Che Manga, of course. Now, yeah, I like the reference to pavilions too. A few years ago, I went to a thing at it was in the Serpentine Gallery here in London, and China Tracy, she was an avatar from Trino actually, some model cities and things. She had an exhibit here which consisted of a load of seats and workstations where people could go into a cityscape in Second Life, but that was actually a side thing to the fact that the exhibit was part of a whole thing called the New Pavilions, and it was examining what a traditional pavilion space represented, especially as a community, social space, and what the new pavilions were. And what the idea here was that virtuality spaces, whether realistic looking or not, were conceptually the new pavilions, which I thought was old because you think of pavilions and in the physical sense they're like things you find in parks or old stuff. Nobody builds a pavilion in the real world anymore. But that isn't to stop you doing it virtually, of course, and having the same function. So, Fisher Night Fire, a miniature statue, Lyndon. Whoa, Lyndon. Is a lot of this also done over in Second Life? You mentioned Lyndon, endowment of the arts here. Sorry, Bruno, of course, is very well known on the Second Life front. So presumably this sort of the pavilions here, the artists span those working in Second Life and in Metropolis and OpenSim in general.
That's right, and we even have several of them have Leah grants currently, so they're very involved, these people.
Right. Okay, well, now moving there. Now, I don't think we made enough of the point. The book itself, by the way, is called "Living in a Coded World." Is that right?
So it is, yes.
Yeah,
Coded.world is also a link to this book. I think we are living really in a coded world. So everything is code. If it's Facebook or if it's really universal, the point of code. And so I took it as a nice domain also. And the bridges from one world to the next is one of my focus. That means, as you said, from Second Life to conserve, to bring nice works to OpenSim, and from OpenSim to Unity. So to have it in a broad view, what is the start of the beginning, I call it, of the digital Anthropocene. Because the digital Anthropocene, where the man changes the world very drastically, has just begun. And when you speak about virtual identities, about virtual life, about the change of recognition with head-mounted displays, Oculus Rift, or whatever you take, there are huge changes ahead, and it will also happen in publishing. WordPress is now in disruption, as it's called, disruptive technology, means it will be totally break up to a new way of blogging or coding. The Gutenberg project, which I will refer to in my next art talk, which will be in Second Life on Thursday now. And what brings me to this is that the screen we have now, the square screen, the rectangle screen, will also change in 5-10 years to different ways of getting digital information. And of course, the art will be a big factor. Art is giving content to this world in many ways, and it's also including music. We have sound, we have animated effects in our world. We have for example, Ellie Torkfeld is one of the artists where you integrate into the walls, into the installment she made. Or as you said, Bruno has created a real-life mascot. It's like a deer or a pig or a mixture. It's a surreal creature, and this creature you get as a bronze statue if you are a winner of this one Biennale.
We just put a photograph of that on the screen.
Yes, it might be very good for the stream. So this, if you can blend it in, shows that a creature Bruno has created in virtual worlds in Second Life and in OpenSim is now remade, or is first made in real life as a bronze statue, which has quite a value of a few hundreds $. And so there will be a voting for the best pavilion and the best artist cube, and also I will give a curators award. So there will be 3 long-legged muskets handed over in Santorini at the Biennale, and we will see how it goes. And voting starts on September 20th when we open the show. Inworld means in the grid.
Right. Now, You mentioned earlier something about like an art talk you're doing. Was that later this week? That's in Second Life. That is completely separate, of course. Whereas the virtual thing is on the Metropolis grid.
Yes.
I am also looking at what the site onebiennial.com, and the page that's opened is Open Simulator Workshop in Berlin on this is this Living in the Coded World, September 17th, right, and 10:30. But underneath that, it specifies the location is Institute of Contemporary Art, Berlin, but it specifies Open Simulator Workshop. The idea here is presumably, obviously, if it's in Metropolis, it's an open simulator, but this is actually a workshop. Is this a particular interactive thing we should mention?
I have the concept of dual world exhibition and dual world shows and talks. So we have it in different environments, what we do. And I just have the Gutenberg talk first in Giulietta's Surreal Art Gallery, which is in fact in Second Life. And I try to stream it via the ScreenLeap session also to the browser. So ScreenLeap recently announced that they will stream not only the web content, the screen, but also the voice on it. So it would be possible to watch it outside virtual worlds. But in fact, there are some ideas which we can talk maybe another time. After the Hypergrid Safari ended very successfully, there are a lot of ideas how to bring again the grid hoppers
Yes.
to action, to activity. It's a lot of time needed to do it, and you have to be careful that you don't start too many projects at one time. And the One Biennale is really a very big project. And so I wait a little bit until this is history. And about history, that's one of the key points. It will be conserved, what's there, and it will be handed over to world-leading museums so they can look back in a few dozens or 100 years to the beginning of this art form.
I'd like to interject also. The Berlin workshop is actually in real life. So that's an exciting activity that Art is going to be doing along with Art Eames. Both of them will be teaming up to do that workshop. And we're hoping, I don't know that we have this 100% confirmed yet, but Art, I know you'll jump in, but we're hoping to be able to also offer for those who are not able to travel live to Berlin to be able to do either a portion of the workshop or maybe all of the workshop for people in virtual worlds through Surreal Gallery and Second Life via ScreenLeap. But I don't know that that's a 100%.
I know of ScreenLeap. I mean, it's usually fairly easy to just broadcast straight to YouTube or somewhere these days. I mean, obviously it depends. I mean, in Berlin, presumably it depends on you having the right real world camera setups and stuff, because it won't be.
Screen share is not new, that's true, but ScreenLeap is the most easiest way because you need nothing. You just need a link. So if you have a visitor or a customer who says, okay, I want to do it, but I don't want to download anything on my computer, then ScreenLeap is the best choice because it's just a link. And then you get the screen. In this case, I will share. So you get my screen and you see the workshop, you see the slides, and if they have the sound embedded, say I'm working on it, then you see even via this you get the sound. Right now, you get the sound via telephone or via Skype or via other TeamSpeak or
Discord, yeah.
Discord, yeah. So you have to bring this sound separately to the person. Yeah, so we try this to give more people the chance to learn about Open Simulator, to download it, and to be creative in many ways. And the seminar in Berlin, in the KW Institute, that's quite known because the Berlin Biennale is also managed there, will be on September 17, as Juliette said.
Okay. Juliette, I just put up another picture, which I think is yours. Is this your pavilion through her
That's
eyes?
mine. Yeah, that's the title of the exhibit that is at Avatar Fest. So of the photographs that I've taken of the One Biennale pavilions and artist cubes. So
Right.
and it's you know, here the one thing I'd like to just add about this is it's not just pictures. I mean, I really I find the details that I've been working with these people and going over their pavilions and their artist cubes for over 6 months now, you know, because it started in 2017. And so I've really gotten to know their builds, especially looking at how to join a pavilion with an artist cube and what land set to put them in, because we have 9 different land sets, or 7, I forget which. I get confused. There's so many. And
know the feeling.
yeah, and but I've gotten into the detail aspect of, and so I began to capture those little elements. So it's not a stand back, here's the pavilion, or it's not a stand back, here's the artist cube. It's those little tiny details that I have found really captivating and unique. Not all of the photographs are detail oriented. Some are stand back and look at this, you know, but that's been really fun to do. And so that's what this exhibit is. It's through her eyes, the One Biennale. So I don't know. I have to be honest and say I'm a little, well, I don't know. You know, I don't want to be under the microscope of critiques, you know what I mean, or critics. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shall be under the microscope of critics, of course, because you made the land sets, and this is so very important to know. The pavilions and the cubes inside are not just in the air or on an island; they are in an atmosphere, in a land, and the land set lighthouse, nature, picnic.
Citadel,
and so on. They create all stories for the mind, and the stories created for the mind are in the book. So at the grand opening, there will be a reading by Painters, who is a DJ, and he has a very good voice. So I asked him if he wants to read a part of the book, the grand opening speech. The Owl would be nice, and I think it's very emotional also, this speech, because it shows what humans dream of and how the future might look, because we will be all still be mortal. Yeah, so we can do a lot of things in virtual worlds. We can even download our thinking preferences, our behavioral structures by questionnaires, by traces we have left into an artificial intelligence that might be indistinguishable in the future from the real person if you just see the screen of this person. Yeah, so you mean you have just the avatar or the voice or the behavior. That's published, that's science, and I work with such people together, like Sims Bainbridge from the National Science Foundation in Washington, Personality Capture and Emulation, one of his books. So it's very triggering to say the human life is limited, maybe 100 years, 150 years, whatever. But then it ends, and what can be done with the personality? So the book gives ideas beyond the art, beyond the pavilions, beyond the artist cubes. And this brings me back to Giulietti, because there is a land set around. Yeah, they are in a land of beauty or of nature or whatever. And if you walk through the land to the pavilions, to the exhibitions, and see what's inside, you experience it by walking into the pavilion, what's inside, then you get a totally different atmosphere as just to see a book or to page in nice pictures or to see a video. So we call it immersed. If someone listens here to my talk and has never been immersed, okay, I cannot help, you have to do it. So it might be similar if you say someone is colorblind and you explain to this person the color blue. It's difficult.
I actually am slightly colorblind in the a lot of men have it, apparently, greens and browns range. And I always used to have a problem on billiard tables or pool tables. There's one ball that I can never figure out what it was, because it falls into, I can sort of tell it's a color, but it's is it a green or a brown or a bit of red in it? There's something in there. It definitely wasn't blue, but you're right, because it's like you have so many letters of the old visual alphabet, and they correspond to things you've learned. But if you have no idea what blue means or represents, then you could be living under a sky for your whole life. But if you hadn't had a way of qualifying it, it's sort of meaningless. It's I don't we just don't know what the future holds, but I do sort of some people talk about singularity and uploading your memories and things like that, and extending mortal lifespan and stuff like that. But I think we've to me, virtual reality really is just as things like television brought vision to radio, and it meant sound and vision and things like that were all coming together. Then we had, with computers coming along, we had ways of interactivity and things. Now we're moving, whether we see it in 2D or the 3D space, we're moving into the third dimension, which we actually live in anyway. We can't even imagine a two-dimensional world. Some animators have tried it, but it's not easy. So we've now got the tools to extend our three-dimensional world into, a new frontier, which is electronic, of course. And you were talking about this convergence and everything else, which I'm always talking about too. We can never know where it goes, but I mean, it does sort of all come together. And as you say, in 100 years' time, we'll probably be, well, I won't be around anyway, but I mean, you'll be, people then will be able to look, it's strange, but, given the speed of progress, they'll look back on today, this moment in time, and us doing a show like this or something, and it would probably seem, just ridiculously primitive, because there'll be something there that is just instant for them, that relegates the kind of thing we're doing now to sort of archaeology in their world. Anyway, look, I've changed the picture on our the video standby screen to the picture of the book, which tells us the size, publishing date, language, and everything. I've also got I've got the page up on the web here, which is www.blurb.com. Lovely name, blurb.com. And for anybody who can catch me on this, I'm going to read it out. There's then a /B/890156 -living-in-a-coded-land. I've got a feeling that if you just go to blurb.com, you'll probably find a way to look up living in a coded land.
You can search it, yes.
And the hardcover, the mega production, is a rather tasty $372.85. which is rather a lot. I suspect
It's an ouch.
I guess 300. I imagine 300 of that is probably a shipping charge. But as you say, you can also get an instant PDF version, which is priced at a meager $10.24 US. So if you get to that site blurb, people can actually order it from there, can't they? That's if they actually want to get the copy.
I should add that blurb takes $5 and $5 goes to the foundation. I'm in charge of a non-profit art foundation which supports such projects, so it's not commercial. And the same as with the books, the production costs are already $250. So it is extreme expensive. And yeah, but it exists.
I mean, there are lots of things I come across these days which are expensive by virtue of it. It's not like an old-fashioned limited edition where there was just like 200 printed and signed and numbered. But because of digital printing these days, you can actually print very small quantities, as required.
Print on demand.
Yeah, exactly. That makes them expensive.
Yes.
But it does mean it's possible to make them.
It's a collector's item. It's
you wouldn't. If you printed off 1,000 of this or something and only sold 100, then you'd be, whatever price you sold it at, you'd be out of pocket. Whereas thanks to digital printing, it really can do, order on demand. I'll have one, right? Just a second, I'll print it out. It's like burning a CD, isn't it?
Yeah.
There will be a cheaper edition coming, not with this lay flat technology. So it's a different layout, different pictures. I have something in mind. But the PDF is really extremely good, and it comes in a 4K resolution, so you can do whatever you like with these pictures. And each contributor got, of course, a free copy of this PDF, so a download link for free. And it goes only via such media like such publishing platforms like Blurb. If you don't have such a platform, you cannot create such a high quality PDF. At least I can't do it. It's very difficult. You need the paging technology, and you need the PDF, and you need all the infrastructure behind to make it really happen. And so I decided for this product and not for Scribus or other products, which would do it for free, but the result is much better if you go in such a commercial line. And $10 for such a great piece of work, having it online, having it on your screen is very cheap. And I have also a low-res download PDF for free in our homepage. So if you go at onebiennale.org, you find the free PDF in low resolution. So you just have the pictures in a semi-good quality, good enough for viewing, and you have the text, so you can have the book for free. In fact, if you don't want to reprint it on your laser printer, whatever.
As we're speaking, I just downloaded it, so I can have perhaps the low res one. But of course, the beauty of this, you can actually put, fairly basic PDFs and stuff onto prims and things in World, So again, you've got an example of the way these all mix and match together.
We do have an Inworld copy of the book on. I forget what the system is called, Art, but it's a beautiful, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful book, and all of our participants got a prim copy of that book in World also. So, and the generous gift of that Art has given everyone involved a copy of this deluxe edition. Really, to me, was just incredibly generous of him. I think that he takes care of his artists really well.
I was just going to say the book's probably worth more than you would normally pay the artists for the reproduction rights.
I don't know, because these people have really gone to bat, and what they've created for us is just, I mean, it's awe-inspiring. When you come to the One Biennale grand opening on the 20th, which you're going to come, right, Mal? And you,
as long as it's only a virtual hop.
yeah. And when you come and you walk through and you see the system that's set up, because you'll have access to changing the system. You'll be able to say, oh, I want to see land number 8, and there's a system, and you'll click it, and everything will disappear, and then all of a sudden this new land reses. It's called an OR system that Art Eames and Art Blue have developed, and it's just really phenomenal. So and then to be able to go and explore that land and walk through the pavilions and the artist cubes, really, it's gonna be up for a while, because it's not just a simple run and see. It really is a multiple time experience. Yeah.
That's what pavilions are for.
That's right.
Hanging around.
Hanging around.
Yes, yes. But maybe it was not so clear. We have a change of land. We have an ORR, or a sim changer, developed, where you can go via web interface and say, I want to see Landsat Picnic, or I want to see Landsat Mountain View, or I want to see Landsat Lighthouse. So you enter a number or name in the menu, and then you get the Landsats loaded. That means the old Landsat is exchanged. It's being exchanged.
Basically, you're replacing an OAR file?
Yes. We use Open Simulator console commands, but of course not directly. We use it via a web link, so you don't know where is the file, and it's all hidden, it's all protected. But via the web interface, you can, let's say, just say 1 to 10. You have 10 numbers, and so you can load it dynamically. This gives a good showing, because you sit in another land next to it, so you watch out like a bird or whatever. You watch out from a distance what's happening. So you can stay on the land, then you fall down when the land is loaded, you fall down to the water, or you stay in the other simulator, in the other world next to it, and watch out what comes. And if you sit on a stick, it's also a nice technology we have developed, or not developed, we just had the idea to use it. So you sit on a stick, and the stick is moving into the foreign land, let's say, then around you the new sim is created.
Well, I know. I'm just thinking, because obviously I came to that. I can't remember the name. My memory is hopeless. It was a few months ago, anyway. But you had the seating area, which was kind of. It was like a seating area you could actually sit on, but it was sort of off sim.
That's right. That's right.
And then you swung it around, didn't you? When the performance started.
Yes, exactly.
You swung everybody's seat around into the front of the stage.
I think that was in the sand, in the sand particle performance of Venus's.
That was it. Yeah.
That's it.
It focuses, or it targets a lot of issues or ideas or solutions. If you sit out of sim, then you sit in a different world watching another world, but you don't know it, you don't notice it, you sit. If you stand up, you are poofing, but if you sit and stay seated, it's no problem, because then the world around you changes, and the performance of the simulator where you are surrounded is not affected, because you don't exist in this world. You sit on a stick. The stick is on a different world. There is a performance. There is the hardware running for you. And if you have a performer like Venus Adore,
is it in a different? You said
it's in a different simulator. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. It's not in a different world. It's in a different simulator, which is
whatever you create.
Performance.
Whatever you create.
We've become very multi-dimensional, haven't we?
But then you can use the full processor load on the simulator. So even
Yeah.
if the technology is old, you can gain a lot of it because if you don't let the people sit in this land where the simulation happens, then it's only one person there who makes the simulations, for example,
Well, it's
and the
actually
others
more,
are watching it from a different land.
this is actually it's a more advanced interpretation of what we do with conferences and things, where we have 4 simulators.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the stage is controlled, whereas
Exactly.
the 3 simulators around it are for an audience. And well, you know, we have people speaking and stuff like that, but we needn't have. There could be it could simply be a visual experience of different simulators being loaded
Mhm.
onto the full sim, you know. So just as back in Second Life days, Grace McDonough did a thing called music immersion at one point, and her concept was simply a tower, and everybody had to sit on the ground before it started, and it looked really boring. You thought, oh, we're in a circle, the seats on the grass, you know, what's going to happen here? But then she'd recorded an album, and she through for each track, each of the 12 tracks, you know, at about 500 meters high, she had a set, and as the track changed, all the seats plus the people on them, of course, moved up. So
Oh yeah, very cool.
as soon as she came to the next song, you're in a completely different environment. In fact, you're in the same seat relative to her performing and relative to the other people in the audience, but the environment had changed so much you didn't recognize, you know, it's just been the same. And it's the same sort of trickery, isn't it? I mean, it fascinates me what we can do with all this stuff, and people just sit there and watch it. Oh wow, where am I?
Yes. We had this in fact we had a grant. Art Eames had a grant and Juliette. It was Infinite Drifters, a Lea grant, where we used the 4,000, I think 4,300 meter, I've forgotten, the full height of the sim, and we separated it with definitions of wind light. So we had different wind lights in each segment of height and different art. So we drifted from the bottom, from top to the bottom. It was a flying down, a falling down.
No, we went up
through a whole system, and also a climbing up through an elevator system. So we had a slow climb up elevator system with different effects until the top of the top where a great wheel was. And we had the falling down effect if you want to risk your life.
And you were able to adjust the wind lights at the vertical.
Yes, we could define it. So every 200 meter was a different wind light, and so the effects have been quite dramatic. And an elevator we had.
Yeah, it's fun.
I didn't know you could do that. I mean, it's like you know, it's like when you put a soundtrack down or something. You can make a parcel, but you know, every layer of height shares the same thing. I thought wind light was the same there. You know, you put it on an area that had been parceled off. I didn't realize it could be altered at different height levels.
Yes,
yeah,
it could.
we live and learn. I learn something every week on this show, don't I? I never knew that. I just assumed because it doesn't work with sound, it wouldn't work with. Well. That's giving me some ideas.
You can extend this if you have art around a light beam, and the light beam is a little slope. Then you can combine the height definitions and the parcel definitions. You differ, because if the tower is a little like the Pisa Tower, a little sloopy, then you reach different parcels, and a parcel can be very small, as we know. So you can literally get a lot of different effects while you travel in an elevator, and you don't even notice that you travel because you will not look on the viewer position XYZ where I'm just now. So you sit on a chair, as you said, and you have a room around you, and you don't know where you are because the room is encapsulating you totally. And so the different effects of land management, parcel management, and height management can be combined to give you you give you art experiences you never had before.
Yes. Not
I have to
possible
say
in real
thank
life.
you. I must leave. So I need to say thank you, Mal, and thank you, Art, and thank you, James, for allowing me to be on the show today. It's been a pleasure and an honor.
It's been a pleasure
Wonderful.
having you
Yep.
too.
Have a great time.
Well, we
Thank
will
you.
see you soon. I'll
Yep.
get James to turn the camera back to me or something, so, and then you can make a graceful exit along with that
Okay.
wonderful costume.
Okay.
And
Great. Thank you.
I do want-
Bye. Hello?
Yeah,
I'm
I
not sure
wonder
if I'm still. Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you too, Art. I think
Okay.
something's happened with Mal's connection, and I can't.
Okay.
My scripts have
Good.
stopped
Not a
working
problem. Yeah.
as well.
It's not a problem. We are about to reach the end, I guess.
I
I'm
think
not
so.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was quite in time. We have now 50 minutes or 45, longer as expected. And
Mhm.
for my part, I have to thank you both very much, James and Mal, of course. He will hear it when he is back. And the dates, September 17 in Berlin, the workshop and the press conference,
Mhm.
where the book will be presented in real life. And also the video will be shown for the first time for the press, a video of Wizard Oz Chrome. And the announcement of Santorini Biennale, November 1st, to travel there. The Santorini Biennale has this time a special setting. It's more political. That means the theme is neighborhood, and neighborhood connecting with the refugees question in Africa and the Mediterranean Sea is in focus, and the art section Immersivia will be there to demonstrate neighborhood working as pavilions and cubes worldwide. We have contributors from Japan to America, Europe, Australia, everywhere. And so we have a link to the theme neighborhood via the digital art community. That will be in November.
All right. Well, I unfortunately my viewer also has crashed, and so I'm thinking that we may just want to say goodbye. And
okay.
Thank you so much for your time. It's a fantastic book, fantastic performances, so much to look forward to, and just really amazing work. I enjoy it so much. And so I think I'll give Mal's farewell, which is have a good day, a good tomorrow, or a good yesterday, wherever and whenever
Yes.
you are, correct?
Okay, thank you both. Thanks, James.
All right,
Bye-bye.
very good. We'll take care. Bye-bye.